then there's Sawyer, who is our youngest, and he's 5. Sawyer was my joy. Sawyer was the light of my life. And I say that not because I loved him more. I say that because he needed us more. He had some delays, and
I was actually going to a friend of mine's house that lived right down the road from them. I looked down at my phone, and then I looked back up, and he was in the air.
Somebody ran into my house and said, "Child's been hit by a car." And all I said was no. And I said, "Where's Sawyer?" I got down and I said, "Sawyer, Mama loves you." I said, "Do you hear me?" I said, "It's okay, Mama's here." And I looked up, and that's when I saw poor Casey, and he was just in shock. And I said, "Look at me." I said, "You look at me." I said, "This is not your fault." And I hugged him and I said, "This is not your fault." I said, "This is the enemy." And that was Jesus. Because to be able to think rationally in a moment like that was just Jesus.
I had a lot of prayer time on my drive there. I can still see. So I'm driving up. I can see the helicopter circling.
I saw Rupert, and I saw him walking towards me, and I remember wanting him to hit me.
I instantly knew that it could have been me anytime, and I don't know. I just thought, how would I want to be received in that moment? But I wanted to go just hug him and pray with him and leave.
I hit my knees again, and I just felt this overwhelming just feeling of grace and love from not just them, but from God. He had a plan for that situation, and I didn't know it, but he was there for me the entire time.
Here's what I know, is that the enemy wants me to blame myself. The enemy wants me to blame Casey, and I am not going to let the enemy have a drop of my son's blood. I'm not going to let him get a foothold, and that's what I'm holding on to.
And there was a moment where people stopped and they looked, and I knew that they knew who I was. And but there was no condemnation, there was no hate. I had never really experienced who God was until then, and how much of a loving God that He is. And until a moment where you're surrounded by people who loved a child, and you ended that child's life.
The purpose, I know in my mind, is first and foremost intimacy with Christ for us. Because through the suffering has come about a closeness with Jesus. My faith is not based on how I feel. My faith is not based on my emotions or my circumstances. My faith is rooted in Jesus Christ, and He is my anchor.
I've really kind of given my life to God in a bigger way than I ever have. I was baptized 2 weekends after. I know that God has a plan for my life, and He didn't want Sawyer to die, but it happened, and now it's a part of my life, it's a part of my testimony, and I've always felt God pulling me towards ministry.
I feel like I struggle more with forgiveness towards myself than I struggle with forgiveness towards Casey. I know he's very tender towards us, so we have a responsibility to call him out and to encourage him in Christ. And the more I prayed about it, the more God just turned my heart towards him and towards reaching out towards him.
He knew me, and he knew that if they had not reacted the way that they did, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you today.
So through our suffering, Jesus has been able to give us joy in our story.